Hi, welcome to my channel and another beautiful garden tour of my cottage style garden here in Toronto, Zone 6. Thank you and welcome to my channel, and I hope you enjoyed this video. My name is Preeti if you're joining me for the first time, and I garden here in Toronto and love to share my garden with you. What can I say? I mean, it's the end of June and the garden is exploding right now with summer perennials, and I thought I would walk around and focus on what summer perennials have started to kind of open in the garden and show you what's opening up at this time of the year. This season, I would say things are a little bit earlier than scheduled. Usually when they bloom is a little bit later, so things are a little bit different this year, but that's okay because more color, sooner the color is there in the garden. I'm happy with any kind of color in the garden. So let's see what's happening in the garden. Here I do have an astilbe that is starting to open up. This astilbe is called Maggie Daily, and it does get a little bit more sun than it should normally get because astilbes love a little bit shadier conditions. But this is a nice spot here near my porch, which is a little bit protected and it does only get some morning sun, so it's happy here with this Brunnera and Hosta. I think this trio is really fabulous and beautiful, and I think I'm going to keep it there. I did have this climbing rose just falling all over this area, so unfortunately I had to prune it back a little bit. It was done blooming. It still has a ton of blooms. I mean, I was sad to cut it back a little bit, but it was really messy and it was falling, and we had some really heavy rain, so it was just not holding itself up very well. I am working on getting a support for it, so I think it'll be in a better shape for next season. The Shropshire rose is done blooming. I cut it back and we'll see what happens. But look, here is lavender, which is exploding again in blooms. This is phenomenal lavender, and it is pretty phenomenal. It's huge and it's bold and it's really present in the garden. So very nice lavender. I love it. And I do have gaillardia intermixed in it, which is also starting to bloom. And isn't that beautiful? This color is just stunning. Love this gaillardia. And yeah, I mean, the roses are done pretty much blooming, so I have to come in and cut them back. But I am going to focus today on summer perennials that are starting to open. Despite all the lily beetle damage, I do have some lilies that are opening. Isn't this gorgeous? I love it. I mean, look at all the damage from the beetles. I mean, I didn't come and pick them off. I think I'm going to have this problem forever, but I'm just, enjoying the blooms that I do get and focusing on that. Geranium Roseanne has opened up beautifully there. The salvias are, done their first flush, and I need to cut them back, but they're still looking okay. The other plants that are coming soon in bloom is this liatris here, but the creeping thyme is also blooming beautifully here, and it's looking really pretty. Let me walk over on this side and show you what else is happening here. So the sedum is starting to bloom here, and the blooms are really pretty on this sedum. It's got this really hot pink contrast, especially with the creeping thyme. It looks really nice. And I do have coneflowers that are starting to open. My favorite blooms. I mean, I love the time of the year when the coneflowers start to open. They are such a beauty. And more coneflowers opening up here with the milkweed. This is the butterfly weed, milkweed. Isn't this such a beautiful color? I love it. I love how it's just popping up in between all these plants, and it's looking great. This is a rock rose, which is a ground cover type plant, and it is also blooming. It has really pretty bright blooms, which is really looking really nice in the garden. I do also have cosmos that is self-seeded here, and it's starting to open. We'll see how much cosmos I'm gonna get. It's like a lot of self-seeding there. I do have another sedum that is blooming here. This is Angelina sedum. It has pretty yellow flowers. And what else is blooming? I mean, the candy tuft pink ice is still blooming. As you can see, I haven't deadheaded it, but it is still pushing out new blooms amongst the dead blooms. Isn't that beautiful? And here is a self-seeded yarrow, which is also blooming. So here is Geranium Roseanne, which is nicely blooming with some Zagreb Coreopsis in the back. And I also have this, I think it's called Thunder and Lightning Nausea, I think. I may be pronouncing it wrong, but it is kind of like a pincushion type flower, and it's variegated, and it's actually very pretty, and it's blooming really nicely there. And then the Zagreb Coreopsis is blooming as well. Isn't this beautiful? I love how wispy it is. I did plant a couple of petunias here just as my bulbs faded, so we'll see how these fill in. Roses are done their first flush, but I do want to show you Monarda, which is starting to bloom here. Isn't this beautiful? This is Pardon My series from Proven Winners. I think it is. This one is Pardon My Magenta or Fuchsia or the hot pink version. I'm forgetting the name, but it's gorgeous. It's a shorter bee balm, and it's really, really gorgeous. What else is blooming? I think this rose, Take It Easy, is still full of blooms, and it's looking really pretty in the garden. There are some more roses that are still putting out blooms and you know, looking good. But the yarrow, this Moonshine Achillea yarrow, is gorgeous. I love the interplay of the yellow, the purple, and the pinks in this area of the garden. And this is Zagreb Coreopsis, which has started to open up as well. And the double play doozy spirea is blooming. So these colors here just make me so happy. They are so gorgeous together. And I think something about a yellow yarrow, it's so bright and so beautiful in the garden. I love how this one is looking. And then I do have more Coreopsis that is blooming here. This is the native Coreopsis. This one is a landsleaf Coreopsis, and this will bloom all summer long. This doesn't have a problem blooming all summer long. As long as you keep it deadheaded, it is happy. I do have some other echinacea in here, which is going to start to open up soon. And then I have Fama Blue Scabiosa flower, which is blooming. Aren't these gorgeous? They're stunning. I love how huge these blooms are. I always get excited when summer perennials start to bloom, because that's when the real riot of color starts. Royal Candles Veronica is blooming down there. And I do have another Agastaki, which is going to start to bloom here. Some more purple. And then Gaillardia is just starting to open up in here as well. And then this is a Blue Boa Agastaki, which is blooming. I love how thick these flower stalks are. Aren't they gorgeous? And I do have another yarrow in the back there. It's more of a red pink yarrow, which is blooming in the back there. And I will have more phlox that'll start to bloom. And I do have a red coneflower that's blooming here. It's gorgeous. More flowers here. These are geraniums that are blooming. These are dark leaf geraniums. Beautiful contrast of color and beauty here. More blooms here. This is the Whisper Blue Catmint. It's blooming for weeks now, and it's flopping over a little bit, but I don't mind because it's looking glorious. I don't want to cut it back because the pollinators are loving it, and it's adding so much color. And here is the beautiful Hot Cocoa Rose, which is still blooming in this beautiful cluster, and it's looking amazing and gorgeous. So yeah, I mean, lots of summer color in the front garden. I just love how this is looking. It is just brimming in color and just looking beautiful. I mean, I cannot even tell you how beautiful these colors are looking at this time of the year. And my boulevard garden is also looking really good. It's filling in. I did add some ground cover plants here, and I'll go through these in another video, but I did add some ground cover plants, and I added some lavender in here as well. And the coneflowers, let me walk over. The coneflowers are also starting to bloom here, and they are looking great. These are the Cheyenne Spirit coneflowers. They are gorgeous. These Cheyenne Spirit coneflowers, they have all of these different colors in one plant, and they are absolutely beautiful. This one is the native coneflower here. This is the straight species. This is also looking really beautiful. And then I do also have this red ombre coneflower, which is more red overall, and it's looking gorgeous as well. And I did plant a couple of the catmints here as well, the whisper blue. I do have some woolly thyme, some lavender that I planted here, and what else did I add here? I added some more creeping thyme here and lavender here as well, and some ajuga on the other side. So that's what I've been doing here. I've been adding some ground cover type things here so that, you know, it offers a bit of weed control and it's gonna look nice. This is the Tough Stuff red hydrangea. It's just starting to open here as well. We'll see how this one does here. So far it's looking like it's happy, but we'll have to keep an eye on this one because it gets really, really hot in this part of the garden. So let's actually, let me go over to this other side of this garden and show you what's happening here. So here as well, the coneflowers are blooming. This is a beautiful orange coneflower. This is looking amazing. And I do have Agastaki here that is starting to bloom. So this is, I think, the meant to be kind of proven winners series of Agastaki, which is blooming. The salvia is done blooming, but I do have the whisper pink catmint blooming still here. I do have a butterfly bush, a shorter butterfly bush that's here. The Verbena bonariensis decided to show up here, and it's blooming and it's gorgeous. This daisies, this was given to me by someone, these daisies, and they are looking really good. Absolutely gorgeous. They are blooming for the first time. This lady was dividing her perennials, so she was giving out some of her perennials. So I picked some of these up for this this part of the garden, and they're looking gorgeous. This is like a kitchen sink type garden. It's got just all kinds of plants thrown in together, and I think it's one of the most beautiful gardens for me because it just appeared out of nowhere from all the plants that were just either clearance, collected here and there, and just put together in this spot here. And I think it does look really, really pretty. I do have lavender, which I moved from another part of the garden here. Isn't that beautiful? I think the colors are just beautiful. This is a Puxter blue butterfly bush, and when it starts to bloom, it's gonna look really pretty as well over here. Another butterfly bush here. This is, I think, the raspberry something, and it's beautiful. It's got these big pink blooms, and it smells wonderful as well. So really, really pretty. The knockout rose is done blooming, and I cut it back, and yeah, I haven't done much with it, and I think it should just flush out new growth and put out more blooms soon as well. So let me go over on the driveway garden and show you what's happening there as well. My driveway garden was echinacea and yarrow, and I've been editing this over time to kind of add some more things here. So echinacea is starting to bloom, and this is going to be very pink soon. There is scabiosa, which is blooming here. This is a wine and roses standard, which is done blooming, but I love the foliage on it. It still looks really pretty. Roses here are taking a bit of time to establish, but they are coming along Not much to show you here in terms of roses blooming, other than the Fiji eleganza roses are still on the plant after all the rain. They're still holding on, and they're still looking good on the plant. I mean, they're just drying up on this plant here, so still looking okay. And as you can see, I removed rugosa rose from here, but it's still trying to grow, so I have to dig this out from there as well. It just sneaks in. So it was suckering really badly in this area, so I had to remove it. But you know, I've added a lot of other things here. They should pick up and start growing, putting on some growth. So yeah, this is the driveway garden, looking really good. So I'll give you another view from here of my front garden. I'm just about to go into the side garden area, and I think I will end the tour with my side garden, and I'll do my backyard in another video because I think it's going to take me a while. But I want to show you beautiful hydrangea blooms and in the back there. I hope you can see it. They are starting to bloom in the back there. I don't know the variety of this hydrangea, but it is a macrophylla hydrangea, possibly an endless summer, that I planted there, and it's really doing well in that spot. It's loving its life there, and I just will let it stay happy there. And it blooms for me most years now because I just leave it alone. I don't do anything to it, and it's happy. Yeah, and the morning light miscanthus is just looking great. It's filling in beautifully, and I love how wispy it looks, and just adds this airy texture to the garden. Beautiful. As you can see, the roses are looking really nice as well. So let's walk over to the side yard. I just want to give you a quick rundown of what's happening in the side yard garden, and then I'll do another video with my backyard, what's happening in the backyard. So side yard garden, as you can see, Florentina is still blooming really nicely. Do have daisies that are starting to open. I think everywhere in the garden the daisies are looking good. There's dianthus that's opening up here as well. Spirea is kind of done blooming, and I have Veronica that is kind of weaved in here and there, and it's just showing up in different spots. And I do have Scabiosa here, which is opening. This lavender, which I had really cut back harshly in spring. I mean, I thought it's not going to come back, and it has, and it's looking really, really good. It's flushed back really nicely, and it also self-seeds all around here, and I've moved a lot of plants from this area and other parts, so I'm okay with that. It's giving me extra plants, which I love. So this area is going to be full of color. I mean, it has phlox that is starting to open, it has sedum, it has coneflowers. It's just a riot of color, this area. I do have a quick fire hydrangea, which is starting to open in the back there. Stachys humello is opening here with Veronica in the back. Isn't that looking beautiful? That is gorgeous. I still have blue star Amsonia, which is still blooming here. Lilies will start to open, and really the catmint is so present in this part of the garden, and absolutely love it. It just flanks this walkway, and I just love how it looks. But the delphinium is doing really, really well in this part of the garden. Look how many bloom stalks it has, and I just love this two-toned delphinium in this spot. It's really, really filled in this year, and with all the rain that we got, it's really happy. And I think when these lilies bloom and this delphinium color, it's just gonna be stunning. Do have some of the white roses that are starting to put out more buds and blooms. And I also have milkweed in the back there, which is starting to open and add that pop of orange in the back there. So lovely. It looks really, really pretty. Geranium Roseanne is starting to open. Another quick fire hydrangea. It's one of the earliest blooming hydrangeas in my garden, and it's got beautiful lace cap blooms, and it just starts to open by the end of June and before the other hydrangeas open up, and it looks absolutely fabulous. So it's starting to open up and it's looking really, really pretty. Adding that pop of white. I can't wait for it to grow taller so I can see it above the other plants. But this is Miss Ruby Buddleia, and it's just starting to open up and it's looking really, really pretty as well. I have more clematis here. I think this is Jack Manny clematis, and it is just weaving its way through everything here, which is really pretty. More lilies that are going to open up here. I also have a coreopsis here, Zagreb, which is just starting to open. I love how ferny and wispy its foliage is. Just beautiful texture in the garden. This is Candy Corn Spirea. It also has a ton of blooms that are opening, and I love this pop of color that it provides. And more astilbes here that are putting out bloom stalks and opening. And I do have endless summer crush hydrangea here, which is also opening its blooms. And more astilbe here, and more hydrangea blooms here, which are starting to open up now, which is really exciting. So yeah, that's the garden. Incredible is starting to open there. I'll end with that, and then we'll do the backyard in another video. So this is Incredible hydrangea. It is also starting to open up and looking great. So just wanted to show you the garden today. The summer blooms are here and I'm loving it. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you very soon and show you my backyard in my next video. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you have a fabulous day.